Hello, my name is Hamza and welcome to my beginner's guide to understanding the basics of Unreal Engine 4. So, in today's episode we're going to be learning how to change the view distance of a player's camera, like in GTA and multiple other games where you can change the distance of the cameras from the actor or the player character. To start, basically, we're going to open up Unreal Engine. Alright, so what you're going to do is, once you're in the main screen of the Unreal Engine, select games and then pick on third person game. Then go to next, save it to wherever you want to save it. Okay, then you just name your project whatever you want. I'm going to call mine camera distance. Okay, leave all of this stuff here the same. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Then click create project. And give that a second to load up, and we'll get back to the tutorial. Okay, so once you get into your Unreal Engine viewport and your entire menu, you can see everything. Now, I'm going to make this really simple. Maybe assume you haven't had much experience with the system, but you understand the basics, like how to control everything and moving, whatever, shortcuts, stuff like that. So once you press play, you're going to be brought into your level, your game, whatever, as your character. Now we're going to be using the Unreal Engine 4 default character for this tutorial today. It's just easy, there's no point making a new one. So what we're going to do is go into your content browser, third person, BP, blueprints, third person character. Here you are, brought into this nice little the blueprints area. So what you're going to do is go into the event graph, you have all your controls here. It's nice. So it's really simple, don't worry about any of this stuff. But for this, the thing we're going to be changing is the camera's distance from the character. And the camera is attached to the camera boom, or a spring arm, it's called. There's a distance target arm length over here, set to 300. That is a distance from the arm away. The more you increase this, further away it gets, decrease, the closer it gets. This is the value that we're going to be changing today. All three blueprints, and it's going to be nice and simple, and I'll show you just how to do that. So what you're going to want to do is create 3 new variables. Alright, you're going to need to name them camera distance, or whatever is, I guess, whatever, you can name them whatever you want as long as you know what they are. I'm going to name mine camera distance. So the values, the distance will change depending on the character's size and how far away you want the camera to go, or whatever, you know. It's all, everything game design is all dependent on your project. We're going to just base it off of the Unreal Engine character, which is here. We're going to have 3 different distances, 3 different values for the spring arm length: 300, 500, and 700. So create multiple variables, 3 different variables. Camera distance 300. Make sure that they all floats. Compile, save, blah, blah, blah. You're just going to compile and save them once you create the variables. Set the distance of each one accordingly. So camera distance 300 will be set to 300 as its default value. You just copy and paste them. I think it's Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, and just rename them. And then all you have to do is compile and save that and change the values. Camera distance 500 is going to be set to 500. Camera distance 700 set to 700. Compile and save. If you want to make sure everything looks neat, you can create a category. Yeah, you can create a new category. You call it camera distance. How's that? That's wonderful. Yeah, camera distance, and then you can just drag and drop these into there, just so it's easier to do. All right, once you have these values set up, go to Edit, Project Settings, click on Input, and it's going to be an action mapping. Click that and distance toggle, distance camera, anything really. Set the this is where you can choose whatever keybind you want to do. I'm going to use the letter V because that's just, everyone uses that. It's just easy to reach and it just makes sense to me. V is in view, you know. I'm sure you'll probably pick the same thing. Once you have that, you can just close the project settings. It will save that by itself. No need to click save. All done automatically. So once you are in the blueprints area on your character blueprint, make sure you're in the event graph. Then go into action, you'll see your action events. Click whatever you've named it. Mine in this case is distance camera toggle, and drag that to the one side. You can always move it if you need more space in the future. So we need to figure out a way to get the distance of the camera boom arm or the spring arm. So we're going to drag that into here. So we have it there. Then we're going to get. Alright, so once you've dragged camera boom into your blueprint, bring it out, type in length, and go set arm length on pressed. So connect that to the pressed thing. We're going to need to have a lot of branches to change all the values. It's going to take it's going to be a load of branches basically. So we can press this and say we'll get distance 500, and once we're in the viewport, I press V, it changes the distance to 500, as you would expect. Now we need to create a system for it to figure out where it wants to go, what value it wants to get to. For example, if it's on distance 500, it wants to go to distance 700 next, and then from distance 700 get to distance 300. We have to figure that out, and we're going to use branches to get there. So just connect a branch, get that, and then we're going to go to float, type in float equals, then get float equal float, drag that into the conditions. We're going to connect, so we're going to we'll do it in an order, so there's going to be 3 branches. We're going to do 300 first, 500 and 700. So get your camera distance, camera boom, we have to get the length, so I think we have to get the length, so that's going to be length, get target arm length, so we can get the current distance the camera is away from the character. We can just move this out a bit, no, we can't, move this out, connect that, it doesn't matter where you connect it to, let's go to the top, why not? Actually no, bottom, if you need to, yeah. Okay, once you have that set out, if you have, we're going to have to imagine that this is toggling from the 700 distance to get to 300. So we're going to get the camera distance 700. So if the distance is 700 units away, we want it, if that is true, we want it to set the length. So I'll type in set length, set target arm length. Over here, we want it to set it to 300. So we get camera distance 300, get camera distance 300, connect that, and type in save. So this is really not that neat, but it will work. So we'll go through this, talk it through, connect the rest of them, and you have a working system. Event input action event toggle distance. So you press the key, the V key, or whatever key you've binded. It will run into the branch and check this condition. It will cast to the camera arm, a camera boom, which is obviously connected to the camera, changing the distance from the character. It would get the value of the current distance, compare it to a specific value, so in this case 700. If that is the same, we want the value to change to 300. And for the next one, it will be distance 500. If the value is equal to 300, it will go to 500. Let's work on that now. Hope that's clear. It might not be, but yeah, it will work. So just Control W, drag that. Yeah, Control W just duplicate stuff in the blueprint viewport as a quick way in doing CV. Oh no, I've just done that. CV, I'll just press Control X. We're going to need another condition. We can just literally just copy this in there. Control C, Control V. There we go. Set to true. Connect that input in. So we want it to get to, what is the length we need? We need to connect those. We want the length to be, so it's 300 now, 700. We need it to be 300, I think, because we're going to set it to 500. Yeah, so we need to set the distance of 300. So get camera distance 300, get camera distance 300, connect it into the float equals float condition, make sure that's connected to the branch. And then we have target arm length set here. We need to get camera distance 500 and connect that into there. Well, one more time, Control W, false. Just grab all of that. Dun, dun, and dun. Control W. Bring that down here. Through branch. And plug in distance 500. Get camera distance 500. Connect that to the float. Then connect that to the camera boom. Like so. And then set the distance to 700. So get camera distance 700. Get that. Connect that into there. Compile. Save. Alt P is to play. We press V. 500. V. 700. 300. 500. 700. And that's a working camera system. Look at that. Changed it. And nice and simple like that. If it doesn't work, go back to the video and make sure you followed it correctly, and then it will work perfectly. Okay, so the second part of this, or the final part, is cleaning up your blueprints, because this is a mess. Look at that. It's like somebody just pulled out cables from an old PC and it just left it like that. It's messy to say the least. What we can do, which would be quite easy, is just to drag everything out and make it into a function or a macro or something like that. So to create into one massive function. Adjust view. Like that. And now it's the same thing, but the only difference is it actually works. And pressing V changes the distance, and that is a working, yeah, it works. Systems, yeah. So just to finish up, I hope that was all clear. If there's anything not clear, just let me know in the comments. I will change what needs to be changed if that is so. But aside from that, I think that's all working. Yeah, stay tuned for next tutorial. Continue learning, and yeah, have a good one.